You know when you don't do something that used to be routine for like a minute, like a hot minute, and then you jump back into it and you feel like you forgot how to do the thing? Does any of this make sense? I feel like I forget how to do YouTube. Like I feel like I was on a roll, I was doing good things, I was feeling it, and then life kicked my ass. It happens, but we're back. Hi guys, my name is Lacey of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. That was so quick. Of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. My name is Lacey of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. You know. Hi guys, my name is Lacey of... No, that's my outro. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I forget how to do everything. Hi guys, my name is Lacey of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back. I took an unannounced, not planned 2-week hiatus. I talk about it more in a Get Ready With Me that may or may not go up tomorrow, but I'm back. It didn't feel like 2 weeks, I think because I had done like 3 live streams in like the middle week, the sandwich week, if you will. But yeah, I apologize for the break. I'm good, I'm back, I'm feeling better, and we're gonna roll with it. I brought this up to you guys on Instagram, the one place where I always am, and I said to you guys, I know that there's like 5 things I need to review. Is it okay if I do it all in one video so I can catch up to newer releases? And you guys seemed cool with it, and I think that's probably the way to go because there isn't a lot to say about like a couple of these releases. So, all things considered, we're going to be doing like a what's new in indie eyeshadow type of mini review extravaganza. What can I say to transition into the review itself? Besides, without further ado, let's get it. Like, I feel like that's like the quintessential YouTube sentence to transition into your next thought. Like, but really, like, I don't have a lot to say because mostly, like, normally I would rant your ear off about, like, where I was, how I'm feeling, what's new, blah, 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 blah. But I did, like, my first ever Get Ready With Me. My first ever successful Get Ready With Me, I should say, because normally I try to film them and like some kind of exterior factor prevents them from ever coming to life, like my camera shutting off halfway through, or the neighbors needing to fucking pound it to Dave Matthews Band with his stupid shitty truck radio. So this was like the first time ever that the stars had aligned to allow a Get Ready With Me. It's very ranty. I'm kind of on the fence about posting it. You guys tell me what's up. But yeah, with that, let's just get into the reviews. I got 4/5 palettes to talk about today, and you'll hear why. I'm gonna get, you know what, I'm just gonna get the iffy one right out of the way first, so we know what's up. I feel like this is almost an infamous palette right now. I was originally going to do a full review on the Box of Crayons palette from the Crayon Case, along with, I had bought their eyeshadow brushes and just all kinds of shenanigans had happened. Beyond even me just taking the 2-week break off that I did, that is stopping me from reviewing this palette. And this is the reason why I'm saying 4/5-ish reviews in one video. I had mentioned this in a live stream, and I'm going to say it again on video because I know not all of you guys can attend my late night Monday live streams, but I don't feel comfortable reviewing this palette on this channel. And I thought a lot about it. I was like staying up late talking to my boyfriend about it while we were trying to sleep. Like really on the fence about what I should do with this. And what I mean by this is, when I had bought this palette, I always post on Instagram what makeup I've bought, and that way I can gauge what you guys do or don't want a review of, what I can do with what, etc. When I posted that I had bought this, I had never in my life received so many messages that were like, wait, be careful! Like, you thought I would have bought, like, a live grenade. Like, you guys got me panicked about this. And I know why, and it's because of Jen's reviews. Jen loves reviews here on YouTube. She is one of my YouTube idols. She is so thorough. She does some of the best reviews ever. She's so on top of anything makeup related that ever happens in the world. She's the best. She did an incredibly thorough review of this palette and this brand. I'm going to link her original review down below because some questions were raised in her video regarding ingredients and the true cruelty-free status of these eyeshadows. Then she did a follow-up video where she was just kind of talking about all the things she had tried in a month, had some follow-up thoughts and some follow-up questions, and now there's all these questions about calling these eyeshadows with an I, and if that gets them out of the FDA regulations for eyeshadow formulas in the US. They hadn't gotten back to her email. She still had a lot of questions. One of her subscribers had proposed like a conspiracy. I'm going to use the word conspiracy. I'm not saying it is. I'm not calling that person a liar. I'm just saying there's now conspiracy theories in the air that they might be private labeled, that these aren't eye safe, that calling them eyeshadows with an I gets around using safe ingredients, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to link a third video from Jen's down below where it's just a snippet where she's talking to Phyrra next, and she says how, basically talking about questions she had about the use of the PETA logo on this palette, and the brand did not treat Jen nicely on their Instagram as a result of her videos of her genuinely having questions and wanting to protect her viewers. And that really does not sit well with me. So all things considered, I don't feel comfortable possibly suggesting a palette that could be unsafe to you guys. I know more and more often, like almost daily, someone is tagging me in a post like, I bought this because of you. I'm going to buy this because of you. I'm trying new things because of your recommendations. And that means so much to me. It means so much to me that you guys should put so much faith into the things that I talk about and the things that I recommend to you guys, and that you have that trust for me. And I'm not here to fuck with that. If I cannot confirm to you guys that these are eye safe, if I can't confirm that these are cruelty free, if I can't talk about the things that I need to talk about to you guys and like know that these could hurt, like I will say these have not hurt me. I've used these shadows a lot. I think they're fine. And if you want to make your own decisions and you want to buy this, like always make your own decisions and do your own research. Always. I always say that no matter what. Do not let my word be your final word. Do not let my word be law. But I just don't feel comfortable recommending these or even reviewing these when I know there are still unanswered questions in the world. And I'm not here to shit talk the brand. I'm not here to shit talk the palette. It's just purely that. That's all I got. So we're going to move on. More fun things. Something that I can stand behind, and a company that I do firmly believe in and love a lot. Lunatick Cosmetic Labs has released a Vampira palette. Oh wait, I have their card. Hollywood legend, icon, amazingness, hero to myself, Vampira inspired eyeshadow palette. Full impulse buy. I didn't know this was coming out. I just was scrolling on Instagram and saw that it was here, and I bought it because I am a die-hard Vampira fan. Oh my gosh, and that should come as a surprise to nobody. It was requested that I talk about who Vampira was when I did this review, so I'm going to do that real quick to the best of my ability. Vampira is the created character of a Finnish American actress who I'm going to put her name right here because I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, but she created the character Vampira, and it's basically, it like paved the way for so many horror, campy horror kind of characters that we know today. Vampira was the host of the Vampira show, which was like a late night spooky movie, kind of B-list horror movie-esque show where she would introduce the movie, she would make jokes about it. Like 1950s, like real ahead of the time of like a lot of things that we got in like the 1980s and 90s as a result. Like Elvira would not exist because of her. She was amazing. She also was like in movies as the character Vampira, including the movie Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is what I believe the green lipstick from Kat Von D is named after. Totally ahead of her time. She was sexy. She was funny. She was a little dark. She made death jokes. Like, totally just like 1950s wonderfulness. Loved her. She would like walk down a smoky hallway and drink cocktails with eyeballs instead of olives and lay on like a skull covered couch. She was glamour and grotesque, and I love that. Fitting with Lunatick's whole vibe because they've done an Elvira themed palette before. They released a Vampira eyeshadow palette, and it's just so perfect. I kind of have to hold it awkwardly for a second. You open the palette, you see Vampira on top, and then there's this amazing little illustration of her on the inside. There we go. And then you get 5 metallic eyeshadows. And I think this is like oddly brilliant because The shadows don't look like anything impressive or crazy or like you need, which is probably mostly true. But Vampira was in black and white. And she didn't have a lot of crazy makeup on. She had like very intense brows and like dark lips and very long like dark nails. But she didn't do like Elvira. The Elvira Lunatick palette makes sense because you can achieve Elvira's exact look with that palette. This makes sense as like an inspired by palette because she was, like I said, she was in black and white and she didn't have like crazy eye makeup. But I'm gonna do swatches real quick. These are the 5 shadows that you're getting in this palette. Like I said, it's nothing revolutionary. So you get like a duochrome silver pink, a true silver, well, going in the wrong direction, a true silver, this kind of burgundy wine, reddish purple, a brown, and a black. Being perfectly honest, the texture of these eyeshadows isn't my favorite for a metallic eyeshadow. They're kind of more on the dry side. It doesn't mean they're not pigmented, it doesn't mean they don't perform well. It's just, for me, for like if I'm looking for an all metallic eyeshadow palette, I want them to have that more oily, wet feeling. These, I feel like for full impact, you might need to wet your brush. Also, you're definitely going to have to pair this with some kind of a matte palette if you want a full look. And you do probably have these colors 8 bajillion and 1 times over in your collection. I think I might have said that already. The one thing I will say though is that these are more impressive on the eyes than they are in the pan. Like especially this Astro Vamp burgundy red that I was talking about. Doesn't look that impressive, but once it's on the eyes, you get the full effect of that kind of metallic, beautiful purple. This makes sense if you are a Vampira fan. This makes sense if you're into her look of like gothy romanticism where it's minimal makeup and it's more on the like elegant garb, and she had the dark hair and the big eyebrows and the dark lips, the dark nails. It was very more about like she was stunningly beautiful but grotesque. Kind of that, for that reason alone, it makes sense. However, for $35 for 5 eyeshadows that you probably have a million times over, I would say this is probably a pass unless you're a huge fan of Vampira, unless you're a huge fan of Lunatick Cosmetic Labs like I am. Like, the packaging is so cute and so wonderful. Again, that cartoon is everything. And if you are someone, like I said, who does more of the romantic gothic kind of looks where you are mostly wearing blacks and silvers and grays and reds, then this makes perfect sense. But you're not going to get something spectacularly different out of this than anything else you could probably buy. So for that reason alone, kind of like when I did the Divine review, it's more of like a collector's piece for people who are Vampira fans, who are fans of like B-list horror and, you know, all things grotesque glamour. Like all things, I don't know. I love this personally, but again, I am a spooky lover. I am for the whole campy horror, you know, shebang. This is for someone like me, maybe not for the average consumer who has no idea who Vampira is. For that, it's a pass. Next, I have something that I haven't seen anyone talk about, but I'm so excited to own it and be talking about it with you guys. And also, I'm holding it upside down. Also, I don't know how to 100% pronounce this brand name. Please bear with me. Xuri Cosmetics, I'm assuming is what it is. This is the Xuri eyeshadow palette from Xuri Cosmetics. Again, kind of an impulse buy. I saw it on Instagram and I had to have it. I had to have it. First of all, the packaging is everything. It's inspired by African prints, according to the website, like fabric prints, and I absolutely love that. And then you open it up and it's just like, this is a stunning fucking eyeshadow palette. Oh my god. If you are fighting the urge to buy the KKW Mario palette for that blue, consider looking at this one instead. Oh my god. Well, this is kind of a neutral palette with a pop. Like, we all know those palettes. We all get kind of pissy about those palettes. This is so pretty. These oranges are so warm. This blue is gorgeous. It has the best yellow metallic ever. Tigress, Papaya, Sangria. Oh my god, it has this great purple. Like, this is such a good neutral with a pop palette. Like, I'm calling it what it is. It's a neutral with a pop palette. I'm here for, I'm not going to sell it for anything more than it is. I'm not going to sell it at all. I'm just going to tell you that I really like this palette. But you could get so many looks out of this palette, and I have been getting so many looks out of this palette. I've been going hard for this palette to the point where I have to, like, remind myself to put it down and try other things. It had, so the kind of metallic formula that I was referring to that I liked the best before is exactly what this is. These are those wet kind of feeling metallic shadows, but on top of that, the mattes are kind of wet feeling too, and as a result, they're super duper pigmented. Like, these are highly impressive for an indie brand that I had never heard of before. Gonna try my best to swatch these. We all know I'm not the best at swatching. Gonna be going this way, and then this way, and then that way. Once again, I kind of did you guys a disservice by swatching them up the arm in this way and not realizing that there's a curve in my arm. You would think studying anatomy I would learn. We're just gonna look at them this way. These are so impressive. And I'm even just like beyond swatches, because I say in every review video, I think swatches are a shitty way to gauge the performance of eyeshadows. But these swatches really honestly illustrate how good this palette performs. Minus like this one sunrise color, which is the first color in the palette. Let me hold it up for you. This one, it's kind of like a mac and cheese shade, which reminds me of J. Kissick. But that's also like the nature of the color. It's a light orange. It's gonna swatch like a light orange. All of these perform so well. The black is not the blackest black in the world. The purple is a little bit more finicky too, but that's kind of the nature of purples. I don't even know where I am. These metallics are so super impressive. Oh my god. I'm really glad that Instagram has once again caught me in an impulse buy, because I really enjoyed these a lot. You get like large pans, you get a variety of colors, so you can do those super kind of more basic wearable looks. I always say wearable with quotations because we all know how I feel about that word. But then you get these kind of wine purple shades, you get these pops, that whole pop of blue shade thing that is so trendy right now. You're getting the best blue ever in this palette. And like I said, it's such a creamy, dense formula. Even the mattes feel wet to the touch. And I think that's what contributes to the high levels of pigmentation in this palette. It's going to work for all skin tones. I absolutely can't find a fault in it. Unless you are someone who prefers a drier formula because you want to have more control over your pigmentation. Because these are kind of shadows where the color is going to stick where you put the brush down, just for the nature of like that creamy feeling. But that's the kind of shadow I prefer, so for me, I have no complaints. One last thing that I forgot to say is that this is a UK-based brand. I did, you know, it is a little bit more expensive when you convert, you know, the conversion rate and shipping and all that, but I got it in like a week. Like, it really wasn't anything ridiculous. I didn't pay customs or anything like that. And I believe they like always have a 25% off coupon around floating on their social media. So find them on Instagram, look for a coupon. I used a coupon to buy this. Awesome. Awesome, awesome palette. Awesome. Though I haven't reviewed this next palette officially on my channel yet, I feel like you guys know how I feel about this. This is the Lime Crime Venus XL palette. It looks like this. It's very hard to not blind you guys with the metallic packaging. This is the extended large version of the original Venus palette, which I forgot to grab. I should grab that real quick. This is the original Venus palette. It kind of was Modern Renaissance before Modern Renaissance was a thing. Excuse the way I'm holding it because I can't flip it back like I can flip this one back. A berry tone palette. Like I said, Modern Renaissance before Modern Renaissance happened. They took this palette and made a gigantic version of it. And I love this palette. A lot of people have been asking me about this palette. They've been asking if it's worth the money, if it's better than Modern Renaissance, if they should get it, blah, blah, blah. It's going to come down to a lot of factors. First of all, I will recommend Lime Crime's formula. I've mentioned before how they make one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. Their mattes are definitely on the drier side. Not the driest mattes I've ever felt, but they just blend beautifully, and They're the right level of pigmented. I don't have any problems with any of the palettes. Even their dark shades, dark colors are hard to formulate, and I don't think they do a bad job. Like, they really make beautiful colors. Their metallics aren't the most blinding. They're not the most spectacular, but they have just the right amount of that creamy, wet feeling that you can get high shine and high metallic. So as far as Lime Crime's formula goes, I have never been disappointed with any eyeshadow I've ever used. Given I only own Venus 1, 2, and now Venus XL, but I knew based on my love of Venus 1 and 2 that I was going to love this. I will say though, it's hard to see, I've gotten hard pan on some of these metallic formulas. So if that bothers you, I don't know, I feel like hard pan is always a testament to the formula itself. I feel like whenever you have one of those metallic formulas, it's like half wet feeling, you're more susceptible to hard pan. Like some of my ColourPop highlighters get hard pan. I know Jeffree Star's Skin Frost are like notorious for getting hard pan. So think that formula, that like wet cream to powder-esque feeling. That being said, this is a pricey palette. I believe it's over $50. You can get it on Ulta, and also if you do order it straight from Lime Crime's website, which I believe I did, you can get a student discount if you sign up for a Unidays account. I can put that information down below if you're interested. I always use the student discount to buy their stuff. Comparing it to Modern Renaissance, though, there are obviously similarities. Like, it's no question. This is a berry themed palette. This is a berry themed palette. I do think you get slightly more neutrals in Modern Renaissance than you do in Venus XL. You do get some browns in Venus XL, but I don't know. It's kind of, is this your color scheme? That's what it comes down to. If you are a berry loving ass bitch, you are going to love either of these palettes, but you're especially going to love how many shadows you get in Venus XL. Really, even though it looks like a crazy difference, you get 14 in Modern Renaissance and you get 18 in Venus XL, so you're only getting 4 more. But you do get like this really interesting coral shade and things like that. Arguably, a lot of these shades look a little repetitive, and that's 100% true. You really can achieve the same goals with like this deep shade and this deep shade down here. If that, again, I apologize about this. Like, I feel like even this pink and this pink can probably accomplish the same goal. This pink and this pink can probably accomplish the same goal. You know what I mean? If you don't want to support Lime Crime, and there's so many videos out in the world explaining all the reasons why Lime Crime is problematic. I've spoken about it like 1 or 2 times now. If you don't want to support Lime Crime, go for the old classic, go for Modern Renaissance. This was my favorite palette for a very long time. It doesn't look it, but I've gone hard into this palette. However, like I said, if you love the pinks, you love the berries, you totally might be worth investing for the 4 more shadows. You get, I mean, they have those mattes that have glitter in them that everyone kind of hates, but there's more interesting, like, purpley shades that you wouldn't get in Modern Renaissance. I don't know. This is a hard one for me to recommend because while I love it, I can see how at this point in the game, there's 1,000,001 dupes for this palette, and it's not original anymore. Well, this was groundbreaking and original at the time. This no longer is, and I think because a lot of the colors were so similar, you have the risk of ending up with like the same look over and over. I will say I used 3 different shadows from this palette to create my eye look today. I filmed a Get Ready With Me, but that Get Ready With Me, I'm bracing you, is not about the makeup at all. But yeah, everything on top is pretty much Venus XL. I don't have any trouble working with these. Beautiful. Do I honestly think, for as much as I love this, you can save money and get something similar that performs, gives you the same outcome? Yes. So that's what I got to say. I personally love it. I don't know, I like Lime Crime's palette, so I kind of had a feeling I was going to like it. I like berry tones. I like creating like more vampy purpley looks. Like, this makes sense to me, but if you already own Modern Renaissance, or even if you own the original Venus and you don't feel like you need much more than this, if you don't want to support Lime Crime, If you feel like berries are overdone, that kind of whole pink berry dupe thing exists too much in the world as it is, or if you honestly think just the price is ridiculous, skip it. It's really going to come down to, do you feel like you can get your money's worth out of 18 various purple and pink shades? And it's going to be a different look every time. Does that make sense? But finally, we have literally the palette that has made me excited about makeup again. Like, not that I don't love makeup, but I just feel like so many releases are kind of like, oh, okay, it's been done, blah, blah. The Creepy Cute palette from Strobe Cosmetics. Holy shit. I was so scared about this palette. This is a palette of pastels, and it was the first matte palette that Strobe had ever come out with. They are known for their, like, metallic single shadows. I was scared buying this. I didn't know what to expect. This palette is fucking amazing. This is by far the one palette of this whole review video that I'm like, holy shit, if you're looking for something unique and different and high quality, this is it. These are some of the most interesting shadows ever. So I'm just gonna swatch now because I've already started. Okay, hopefully these swatches are doing the palette justice. I started this video with the sun up and the sun has now set. And I feel like my lighting is not doing what I need it to do right now. These are absolutely incredible. And what I mean by that is, one, this is what, like, I can't even come up with a dupe for this formula. This is probably one of the most unique eyeshadow formulas I've ever used in my entire life. My first word is dense. Like, these shadows feel dense. And even that is not describing this well enough. They almost feel like if eyeshadow was a pudding. Go with me on that. These don't necessarily feel wet the way that, like, the Xuri palette did, where it feels like they feel silicone-y or anything. But these are so creamy, and the powder itself feels heavy. And I feel like I'm still not describing these well enough. Like, pastels should not be this pigmented, and yet they are. First of all, this is the blackest black ever. And I love that they have a gray because it's a spooky... No, it's a Creepy Cute palette. And this totally gives me, like, 90s, All Real Monsters, creepy crawlers kind of vibes. Like that. I always think of, like, 90s creepy things. 90s creepy children's toys, I should say, when I look at this palette. This palette is, like, so much fun to use. I feel so inspired. I feel so creative. This has pushed me out of my comfort zone. I'm doing things with color I didn't think I would do before. I'm using pastels. I'm not the biggest pastel fan because I always want them to be deeper and darker. This green, this blue, this, like, minty shade, oh my god, this is the blackest black ever, like I said. The only shades that I feel like, I don't know, Strawberry Milk, Third Eye, and Planchette aren't as impressive as the blues and greens to me, but I feel like that's because of the natures of the colors themselves. Like, it's a soft pink. It's a milky pink. It's a soft lavender color. It's a soft orange. And I find myself, like, digging into the pans and, like, layering it on, trying to get the pigmentation I want, and I need to realize that these are pastels and they're only ever going to be pastels, but they're impressive pastels. The thing about the formula, though, getting back to it, is that if you're not comfortable working with super pigmented shadows, which I feel like is a point that I bring up a lot on my channel, but really, like the Xuri palette, you're going to get, the color is going to be the most saturated exactly where you put your brush. And they blend like a dream. They're gorgeous. They're pigmented. I wanted so badly to get a friend of mine to help me do swatches because she's a much deeper skin tone than myself, but it just didn't work out. I have seen people with a deeper skin tone than my own use this palette, though, because that was my only concern, was that shades like Strawberry Milk and Third Eye and Planchette might not look good, not even look good, but might not appear as vivid on deeper skin tones. I don't see that that problem actually exists. I think it's fine. It's just they're pastels, so take that for what it is. If pastels don't typically work for you, this might not be so much better. But other than that, like, damn. Like, you Strobe Cosmetics nailed it. absolutely fucking nailed it. You nailed it. This is a great palette. This is a great, great palette. If I was going to redo my top 10 eyeshadow palettes kind of thing, this would make the list for sure. I don't have anything like this. I don't have anything like this. This is amazing. One last thing I want to bring up though before I conclude this, because I just looked at the time and this is not a short video at all. There are some similarities between Creepy Cute and Pastel Goth. Obviously both are pastel palettes. You're going to get blues, you're going to get oranges, you're going to get a green. The green's not exact, but you know, you're going to get a gray. I think if you missed out on Pastel Goth and you're just upset about it, you're going to want to jump on Creepy Cute. Do you really need both? Like I said, there are some similarities, but not enough in my mind to ride this off as a dupe of this. The one palette that makes me feel like if you have it and you don't want to have too much overlap in your collection would be if you have the Creme de Couture palette from Sigma. Sigma is very similar in that these are also pastels, but they're very vivid pastels. There, to me, are more dupes in this palette than there are in this. But these are very tiny pans. There's more variety. Like, really what you're duping the most is the blues and greens in this palette. I don't know. If you're one of those people that's like, I only need one neutral palette, one smoky palette, one colorful palette, one pastel palette, and you had Pastel Goth or Creme de Couture, then I would say probably skip it. But if not, and this excites you and you like color and you want to support indie brands and you want to be pushed out of your comfort zone to try something new and you want something completely different, because honestly, even with those two palettes, I feel like this is such a unique, awesome, great buy, then yes, totally go for it. The only thing I'm going to say is that Strobe's shipping fucking sucks. I pre-ordered this and it still took me forever to get it. And I was promised like a pin with the pre-order. I never got the pin. And I know if you didn't pre-order it, you had to wait even longer to get it. And it says on their website normally to wait 2 to 3 weeks for processing. And that to me is a little obnoxious as a human being who has gotten packages from Europe in less than a week. I don't know. They're a small indie brand. They're figuring their shit out. Other than that, I have no complaints. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Out of everything I reviewed today, this is the one that's like, oh my god, yes. Whew, and with that, I am done, and I just looked down at the time, and I have to edit the fuck out of this video if I want to put it up tonight, because this was way longer than I was hoping 4 mini reviews would go. Well, yeah, that's it. Those were the palettes that I had promised you guys to review. I'm so sorry it took so long, but in a way I'm kind of grateful because it just encouraged me to keep using these and really make sure like I was using every single shadow from every single palette and really getting my thoughts down on how I feel about them, because I'm not someone who ever wants to rush a review out for the sake of getting it out close to its release time, because I don't care if I'm the first person to review it. I don't care if like, you know what I mean? Like, these aren't palettes that are going anywhere anytime soon. I want to be able to use them and feel comfortable in the reviews I'm giving you. So yeah, thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to be moving on to newer releases, such as I just got the BH Cosmetics Festival palette that I'm super excited about, and just some other things that are going to be trickling in that I might not have told you guys that I was getting yet. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about these products. If you have picked any of them up or you're planning on it, talk me down below. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me while I had taken my last break. I really needed it. It was a mental health thing. I talked about it on Instagram. I talk about it way more in my Get Ready With Me. You guys are the best though. You guys have been so encouraging and so sweet and so supportive and wonderful, and I love you all, and don't think that I've taken any single message that anyone has ever sent me for granted about my break, because you guys are just the absolute best. I'm running out of breath. I want to edit this so it can go up tonight, so I'm going to quickly get off, edit it, and then probably come back to edit, or to film rather, 2 more videos, and we will once again be back on track with this YouTube channel. Hooray! Talk to me down below, follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, subscribe and hit like if you have not already, and yeah, I missed you guys. I'm excited to make more videos, and that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!